John Heilman, something is fishy in the state of North Carolina.
Yes, and shockingly, the Republican Party so concerned historically about matters related to election fraud, voter fraud, things that they talk about all the time. Shockingly, they seem to be not particularly interested.
They're not focused on
well, let's talk to someone who
or
is
concerned about this matter.
Concerned about this.
Yeah. Let's talk to someone who's concerned. Chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee for the 2020 election cycle, Congresswoman Cheri Bustos of Illinois. It is so great to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
Great
for having me.
Great to have you here. Congresswoman, Democrats will be able to decide, along with Republicans, but there will be a vote to decide whether the congressman from this district can be seated. Is there any way that anybody from that district can be seated in the 9th District of North Carolina, until there is an investigation that clears up basically it appears to be just rampant cheating in this congressional race?
Well, you know, we'll wait and see. That's on January 3rd, so we have a little bit of time now to get this figured out. But we've got to get to the bottom of it. If you think about these folks in North Carolina and from the reporting, and, you know, let's do a shout out to a free press and good reporting. But the reporting shows that it was African-American voters who were targeted. Why was that? You know, our most solid base of support as Democrats is in the African-American community. So, you know, everybody in North Carolina, whatever community you come from, needs to make sure they can have confidence in the electoral system and that every vote is counted. And it appears, and you did a great job with the overview there, that, you know, there's something very fishy in North Carolina.
Jackie Alamany.
Yeah, I'm wondering why we haven't heard a ton about this. Obviously, you know, we've had H.W.'s funeral this week, but since considering there are around 45 different Democrats potentially running for president, don't you think this is something that every single Dem should be talking about right now?
Well, the Dems are talking about this. We've got a whole crew on the ground in North Carolina. We've got lawyers on the case. We are talking with Dan McCready, the Democrat candidate, who we hope will end up being the congressman representing this region of North Carolina. We're on the phone with him constantly, but we will get to the bottom of this. Trust me, the authorities will get to the bottom of this. The North Carolina voters and American voters all over want to get to the bottom of this. Our electoral process has to be pure, and there's something very stinky going on here.
Congresswoman, it's Willie Geist. Good to see you this morning.
Hi, Willie.
Congratulations on your a week ago as chair of the DCCC. You are a fascinating case and I think the appropriate person to be in that position because of your district, which has elected Democrats for the most part in presidential elections over the last generation or so, and switched and voted for Donald Trump in 2016. Not by a wide margin, but went for Donald Trump. And yet you won re-election a month or so ago by 24 points as a Democrat. What is the lesson in that for you that you can then relay to candidates running in 2020?
Well, I mean, it's the common sense part of politics, which is you show up, you use your two ears and your one mouth proportionately. Willie, I'm a former reporter, and so it is very natural for me to ask people questions. In fact, it's more comfortable for me to be the one asking questions and then sitting back and listening. But you take what you learn from people, whether it's in the grocery store or I do this thing we call Sherry on Shift. In fact, I just did my 76th on Monday in Galesburg, Illinois, making railroad ties. And, you know, you're standing shoulder to shoulder with hardworking people, and you find out what their challenges are, their struggles. And then you go back out to Washington and you sponsor legislation or write legislation and do your best to get results for people back home. You know, I was talking about my brand new tenure. I'm 1 week into this chair job right now at the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. But I would say over these next 2 years, what we as Democrats have to do is we have to punch our way back into the hearts of working families. That is what we have stood for as Democrats. We have to make sure that everybody, whether it's in Galesburg, Illinois, Moline, Rockford, Peoria, whatever it is, that people see that we are fighting for them and we're going to get results for them.
Congresswoman Cheri Bustos, thank you so much for being on the show. Please come back. It's great to see you.